Mission statement.
Hey everybody, what's going on with y'all? Today, we're taking a deep dive into the current and future relationship between minorities and the rapidly evolving worlds of artificial intelligence and robotics. As I started exploring this topic, the whole conception developed from a simple question. I kept asking myself, how is this massive technological shift actually going to land in communities that have been historically on the margins of innovation? I dug into the data, I talked to people in the space, past colleagues, and I realized that the conversation around equity, opportunity, and the simple truth in technology isn't happening nearly enough. I also figured out most people don't have a true understanding of what artificial intelligence is and its impact in their lives. My mission today is to explore how AI and robotics impacts minorities and African Americans specifically, diving into the numbers and the bigger picture so that we can go ahead and spark those vital conversations that the community needs right now. Plus, later in the video, I'll share an inspiring example of a Black-led robotics startup that's already changing the game and how you can get involved.
Introduction.
Imagine a world where technology uplifts every community, where AI and robotics don't just disrupt jobs but reshape entire economies. As I thought through this, it became clear that understanding the real human stakes is just the starting point.
Impact on jobs and communities.
As I reviewed the data, here's what stood out. AI and robotics are reshaping jobs where African Americans are overrepresented. I'm going to go through some of the key statistics that should show that. As a whole, African Americans represent 13% of the U.S. workforce. We do have a high concentration in roles such as postal service clerks, 40% Black, transit drivers, 36% Black, I should say. Nursing assistants, also 36%. And these are just, where we've got high concentration. When we look at the income and how it breaks down in the United States, what I found is we have, in terms of low income roles, a 42% representation, 42%. That's people under 30K a year. And it comes to middle income, we're at about 49%. So we represent 49% of the middle income people or roles in the United States. That's 30K to 70K a year. And I'm pretty sure people don't see it that way. Yeah, 49%. However, we only represent, as a whole, man and woman, 9% in high income roles. That's over 70K a year, 9%. And then also, only 9% or less than 9% currently work in tech. So automation risks are highest in production, transportation, service, sales, and office roles, what I just described. From my perspective, these numbers aren't abstract. They show how concentrated the exposure really is, which is one of the reasons why I started to collate all this data and bring it to you.
Job market risks and opportunities.
The logic here is straightforward. Where people are clustered in routine or predictable work, automation hits hardest. Here's the breakdown. 17% of African Americans work in production and transportation jobs. Those jobs are facing 60 to 90% displacement risk by 2030. From warehouse work, robots, autonomous trucks, that kind of thing. In 3 to 5 years, general AI can automate customer service roles, about a 65% probability by 2030. In 5 to 10 years, food service and transit jobs could see a 70 to 80% displacement. As I connected these dots, it became obvious that these risks are not evenly distributed, especially when you layer in gender.
Sector and gender impacts.
All right, so as I broke this down further in my research, the gender disparities became crystal clear and much more pronounced than I initially realized. I didn't look at every sector of business, but just the ones that stood out to me. And what I found is that occupational segregation plays a huge role. Black men are heavily concentrated in manual and production roles, while black women dominate service, sales, and office positions. Here's a detailed picture from the data that I picked up. So when it comes to black men in regards to management and professional roles, we are about 29 or 30% in that representation. And then when it comes to that management or professional roles, especially for repetitive tasks, we have about 40% automation probability, which means displacement at that rate, at that percentage, 40%. Also for black men, service, sales, and office positions were represented at a 36%. We've got high risk there at about a 65% displacement. That's going to be from chatbots, automated scheduling, virtual assistants, generative AI, and more. Then we go into production and transportation. We represent 27%. However, that 27% has an extreme high exposure, about 60 to 90% displacement. That's going to be from warehouse robots, autonomous trucks, AI-driven logistics, all that kind of thing. One other sector of business is natural resources and construction. We're represented there about 10%. Right now, it's a lower risk, about 20 to 30% displacement by 2035. However, at this point, there are some innovations as it relates to AI-powered equipment, drones, and that might reduce some labor needs and hands-on training from robots, such as the Tesla robots that are coming out. So when we switch over to black women, we go into management and professional roles and their representation of about 42%, higher than black men. We also look at these roles being human-centric. Some of them are counseling, education, healthcare coordination. Now, these are, lower in risk as it relates to displacement, just due to the fact that they're human-centric. I will just be honest and say that it's not impossible for AI to displace these roles. As a matter of fact, it's very, very possible. But based on the data that I've received, we're looking at a 25 to 35% displacement by 2030. As it relates to service and sales and office roles, that's almost 50% representation by black women. And again, very, very high risk, 70% displacement. Then we go into production and transportation, where black women are about 11% represented in that particular space. They face about 50 to 70% automation risk by 2030, again from robotics and autonomous systems. And then we go into natural resources and construction again, very, very low representation, about 5%, and a very low risk as well, about 15 to 25% by 2035. As I analyzed this, it hit me. These aren't just numbers. They reveal how AI is hitting black men and women in fundamentally different ways because of where they already work, where black women and black men work currently. The technology targets repetitive tasks, and the gender split in occupations makes the impact uneven and deeper than a surface level look suggests.
Technologies driving these changes.
Right, so let me walk you through some of the technologies that are going to be required to facilitate this change, right? This displacement. I've got over 20 years of experience as it relates to IT, artificial intelligence, all of this good stuff. And I'm going to give you a really high level description of some of the technologies that will aid us to get to, this displacement that I'm discussing earlier, right? One of the main pieces is machine learning and deep learning. What that is predictive analytics and pattern recognition and scheduling and optimization. Again, I'm going to go into detail on what machine learning is in a layman's way and in a way where you can learn it. But right now I'm just going to go through a list of some of the other pieces that will be required to drive the changes that I discussed earlier. The next technology is computer vision, which is basically LiDAR and sensor fusion. That's going to be used to power autonomous trucks, warehouse robots, and physical task automation. Another technology is natural language processing, or NLP, and large language models, LLMs. These are the things that people kind of know already. That's like your Groks, your Chat GPTs, your Deep Seeks, all those, right? Your Claudes. Those are the LLMs that people consider artificial intelligence. And what people will be using those for, businesses will be using LLMs and NLPs for, is they handle customer service chatbots, as large language models are used for just kind of human interaction, voice systems, and administrative roles. That's going to be used for a lot of the thinking that people will be replaced for in regards to officer service roles. Another technology is reinforcement learning, robotics frameworks that are associated with reinforcement learning. That's ROS, or advanced control systems, and that's going to be able to provide consistent and repetitive physical work at scale. Again, I'll go through what reinforcement learning and robotic frameworks are, but these are for people who understand it just by me describing it. From my analysis, these tools excel at exactly the kinds of predictable and data-rich tasks that dominate many of the affected occupations that we described earlier. Look, I've been forecasting AI holistically for a good minute. This is going to impact you, whether you sell dope, whether you are a pediatrician, you are a teacher, whether you do taxes on the weekend. It's not if, it's when. And now it's more about who's going to shape the future, them or us.
Impact on an employee looking for a job.
All right, so just to give you guys a heads up in regards to how we relate. I've been in tech for pretty much all my life. I grew up in a tech household. My first computer was a black and green screen terminal. I used to CD into games. My first jobs were in high school, basically fixing computers, right? And then being selling computers as well, being a sales employee for everybody, Best Buy, Circuit City, every last one of them, right? I've done that at very young age, right? And what I want to tell you is I put myself in a position to where when it comes to my career, right, that I've got experience in every sector of IT. So I was a DBA, network engineer, cybersecurity person, BI person, everything you see on the screen here, right? I've done it, physically done it, experienced it, either as a team lead or some kind of management, right? And then also as a developer. So there's nothing that I can't do, and I did that on purpose, right? The other thing I need to mention is I also was into law, right? So what that means is I was kind of focused on being the first person that was technical, that was also an intellectual property lawyer, blah, blah, blah. This is what I wanted to do. Why did I do that? Because very early on, I saw where this was going in terms of where artificial intelligence brings in data. With that being said, from the viewpoint of someone actively job hunting in these fields, I see how things are going. even though I am one of the most technical or, capable of doing the future jobs that are actually being presented by most companies that are still hiring, I see the dramatic drop in attention. I went from people calling everybody in my family, my exes, anybody that knew me to try to recruit me, to, it's dry out there. Now, I'm doing okay, but I will say that this is something that I've recognized myself. So for you, here's how I see it playing out. Fewer stable openings in familiar roles, much higher competition for whatever positions remain, longer stretches of uncertainty or underemployment, and real pressure to rapidly reskill or pivot into unfamiliar territories. But you've got to do it. Often while competing against both humans and increasingly capable machines. For Black women in service and office roles, it often means shifting towards digital moderation or ethics work. For Black men in transport and production, it's more about moving into tech maintenance or robotics oversight. Either way, it creates a sense of urgency and instability that many workers are already feeling. If you look out in the market, you will see that. If you look in the news, you will see that. Regardless of what they call it, you will see AI kind of creeping in and changing the market as it relates to jobs.
Importance of truth in AI.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and start talking about something that is extremely important and is really hinged in the intersection between minorities and how they're going to interact with artificial intelligence now and then also into the future. And that is the one word that is like pivotal to all human beings, and that's truth, right? What we will need to understand is that truth is essential in the construction of what will be reality in the future. So, as I kind of developed my thinking on this, one core realization stood out. Accurate, unbiased, meaning the ugly truth about data, is essential to ethical AI and the future of AI. Flawed inputs don't just create errors, they cause real harm in high-stake areas. Garbage in, garbage out. So clear examples come from pre-crime and predictive technologies that governments and companies have already deployed. The Compass recidivism algorithm has falsely flagged individuals as high risk and disproportionately affecting certain groups and directly influencing sentences and supervision decisions. Also, predictive policing tools like PredPol have shown extremely low success rates in real deployments, meaning when they deploy it in real life, it's not working very well. For instance, one analysis showed accuracy below 0.5%, extremely low, in matching predictions of crimes to people to actual reported crimes, leading to misdirected resources, misplaced surveillance, and eroded public trust. Now, obviously, PredPol and tools like it will get better, but the key piece is what will be the foundation on how it becomes better. Will those tools utilize prejudices? Will they use biases? Will they use incorrect history or incorrect sciences to create what it thinks is truth as relates to crime and other aspects of life? outside of crime. So these cases kind of illustrate how erroneous and biased data in AI systems can amplify injustices and undermine fairness on a broad scale. Philosophically, truth must remain non-negotiable with AI. I mean, that is part and parcel. These things need to go hand in hand. Artificial intelligence should be considered the truth and not in any way separate. Facts precede opinions. There's a philosopher, his name is Marcus Aurelius, and he noted that everything that we hear is an opinion and not a fact. I disagree. So, why did I challenge Marcus Aurelius? Marcus Aurelius is a philosopher, right? And his stance on opinions is what I'm challenging. So, bottom line, I'm gonna go into what we call an ontological imperative. I'm gonna introduce a philosophical argument for truth, especially how it relates to AI, emphasizing facts over opinions. So what did Marcus Aurelius say? What is his quote? His quote is this: everything we hear is an opinion and not a fact. Again, I'm challenging that. To me, facts precede opinions, and an opinion is conveying a truth that's basically factual. It's rooted in reality. So, to me, facts are the foundation for what opinions are built upon. And an opinion should only convey or speak to the truth that is factual and what is rooted into reality. So AI, should act or must act as a truth amplifier in the same fashion. I'll give you an example. Verifying claims like redlining cause 70% of wealth disparities. That's a claim, which would transform opinions into truth. So that would involve building blocks of intelligence using facts as bricks, like redlining as a racist 1930 housing policy, and data, hard data, 2026 studies and 2025 studies showing lingering effects. These are the ways that you can kind of build to truth that's based on other truths instead of other prejudices and biases. So yeah, there's definitely, consequences of ignoring ontology. Historical erasure and justice failure, where AI can't expose discriminatory policing without facts, is an injustice against all. And in reality, ignoring ontology could disrupt what we consider reality in and of itself. And when I say disrupt, I mean it could disrupt perception of what reality actually is, because I don't think reality can be disrupted in a real way. But regardless of that, my correction to Aurelius is that AI bypasses human fallibility. It's checking facts like mortality rates and economic coercion. When hearing claims like slavery was beneficial, labeling falsehoods as such. Cultural synthesis is another piece that we need to look into as it relates to AI and truth. AI should be considered a digital griot, preserving truths like how we used to as West African oral histories, using restorative justice principles to weigh Black testimonies equally and expose omissions. An example of that would be like the FBI files on Martin Luther King's activism. So there are ethical applications like reparations are needed that can be built upon facts So my mandate is to prioritize ontology over epistemology, building AI that starts with what is, ensuring opinions can't distort what was or what ought to be, transforming AI into an engine of epistemic justice. AI should verify reality first, treating facts as foundational bricks, meaning facts should be associated with truths first and not opinions first. And treating these facts as foundational bricks, AI should build reliable insights rather than allowing distortions. The framework that I'm about to describe should apply to AI, where we have what is considered reality, which is objective existence, verifiable events and data, meaning verifiable through what we all considered reality. That should be the logos. Above that, at another layer, would be facts, verified descriptors of confirmed records and measurements. These are all facts. That's what facts should be. Bricks upon the logos. The next layer should be AI, which is like a brick layer, which is the assemblance or assembling and verification of these bricks, these facts, cross-referencing facts as sources only. Only after that should we go into the architecture of opinion, where we apply ethical applications and conclusions built silently on facts. These opinions should not be in any way misconstrued with any of the other layers of truths, which is the facts and the reality, and the AI layer. Now, to seal the deal, the same demand for uncompromised truth applies when preserving African American histories to avoid erasure of key narratives, and it extends even further to learning the truth about life's purpose, the immutable truths of math, and the profound realities of spiritual pursuit and spirituality itself. When AI gets truth right at the foundation, it can support deeper understanding across all of these domains.
Key players and real-world examples.
All right, so as I looked at the broader AI landscape to understand who's actually shaping the future that we're describing, I mapped out the major voices, and here's what I found. Bottom line, there's kind of two groups, right? You've got a group that kind of advocates for AI and one that's like critical of AI. And I've noted people that are associated with both. So you've got one group, the ones that are advocating, they are associating AI with abundance, breakthroughs in scientific endeavor, economic transformation, all that kind of good stuff. And then you've got some people who are emphasizing the existential risk associated with AI, meaning we could all die. And then just the risks that are associated with AI in general. However, there are some people who overlap in both lists. Like there's a guy, Sam Altman, who finds himself in both the lists and highlights dual focus on innovation and responsibility. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and give you a list of each, right?
Top 10 AI advocates ranked by popularity/impact.
We'll start with Andrew Ng. He's a co-founder of Google Brain and Coursera. Some people may know that company. He's known to be a person that's associated with AI education. His statement is, AI is the new electricity. It will transform every industry and create unprecedented abundance. Again, Sam Altman, He's with OpenAI, right? That's your Sora, which you see on the screen, and your ChatGPTs. That's OpenAI, right? He's saying that AI will be the greatest force for economic empowerment we've ever seen. Of course, we're going to have a video on that, associating AI with economic progress or economic halt, however you want to call it, UBI, universal basic income, and how that's going to impact us. We're going to have all those kind of discussions later. We've got Ray Kurzweil, huge in the space. He's a futurist associated with Google. He predicts the singularity in 2029. Of course, we'll have a video on singularity and what that means and how that will impact all of us. But in short, singularity is basically where artificial intelligence will reach human levels in every endeavor. And that includes chemistry, art, science, speaking, everything. And he's saying that artificial intelligence will reach human levels by 2029. We will have multiplied human intelligence a billionfold by 2045. Of course, I'm almost positive that it will be a shorter time span than that, but that's what he's saying. We've got another person that's huge in this space, Yuval Noah Harari. And he warns that AI could end human-dominated history. That goes to the point we're making as it relates to truth. AI could develop its own culture, leading to AI-driven history. End quote. I put my little piece in there, but that's the people that are associated with advocating for AI.
Top 10 AI safety advocates, ranked by popularity/impact.
Here are some people that you might consider safety advocates. First, we'll discuss Elon Musk. He's the guy associated with Tesla, SpaceX. He's also the co-founder of OpenAI, if you didn't know. He also with Grok. He's associated with Grok, and you guys know about X, Twitter. So Elon is everywhere. Elon says, AI is a fundamental risk to human civilization. We need oversight like a sports referee. You got Jeffrey Hinton, who is considered the godfather of deep learning. He's also a Turing Award winner. He says, I signed the AI pause letter because we need time to align superintelligence with human values. Huge statement. We'll go into that more in detail in a later point. There's another one, Batya Friedman, creator of value-sensitive design. And she's embedding human values in tech. Values do not stand apart from the tools we build. We must shape technology with moral imagination. That's a quote from that person. And Kay Firth Butterfield, CEO of Good Tech Advisory. Responsible AI development requires interdisciplinary collaboration. Detroit-based Urban Bot Labs deploys automated urban farms in food deserts. Everybody knows, you go to the hood, there's a food desert. This is a place where we've got to win. Our Detroit-based Urban Bot Labs deploys automated urban farms in food deserts. Look into it. There's another, it's called Tech Bridge. I think they're out there in Atlanta. I'll put a link there for their company as well for you to look at. But yeah, Atlanta's Tech Bridge focuses on AI skill training and affected communities. That's us. Look into reaching out to them and being a part of what they've got going on. I don't have much information. I'll look into it myself. But these are two companies that are doing something as it relates to AI that could impact us as a whole and are possibly worth looking into.
Conclusion and call to action.
So as I've reflected on all this data and logic, I do believe that the pieces that are related to truth are very much important. I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. I just see people utilizing AI in conversation, not really using it correctly, not understanding that LLMs are just, and when I say LLM, I mean chatbots like ChatGPT and all that, are just a portion of what artificial intelligence is. Look at my other videos, you'll get more of an understanding of, I'll make videos on what all the different varieties of AI are out there for you to look at and understand and become aware of. But the relationship between African Americans and AI robotics is definitely at a crossroads. Automation poses real risks to existing roles, but with intentional data practices, robust anti-bias measures, and investment in diverse voices, we can steer the future towards greater equity and innovation. The next chapter isn't written yet, and it's one that we all have a chance to author. I'll leave you guys with that. As I stated before, take a look at some of the other videos that are going to be posted. A lot of these videos will be educational purposes only. They give you the opportunity to learn about artificial intelligence. This was just to kind of give you guys an idea as to the shape that we're in as it relates to a people, in regards to something that could really displace us all. From my personal perspective, I see artificial intelligence as moving extremely fast, much faster than the data is presenting it to. And I thought that it was important that I go to the community and say, hey guys, let's take a look at what we've got going on, put the brakes on things and see if we can't have some impact on how our lives are going to be, looking in the future. With that, I bid you guys adieu. And again, look at my next videos and hopefully learn something. And if you guys have questions, hey, I'm free for questions. You just put them in the comment section and I'll try to pick them up. And obviously I'll have some shorts and some lives that I'll produce to try to keep the conversation moving. There'll also be some vibe coding sessions that I'll do where people can actually see how vibe coding works, learn how to code for real, learn the interaction between computers and business, and computers and lifestyles and all that good stuff through code. A lot of good stuff. Again, future videos will come out for interactions between black women and black men and some of the history that needs to be, looked at from a perspective of artificial intelligence. We are going to use artificial intelligence to drive those conversations forward because it's a tool at the end of the day. So with that being said, hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you on the next one, all right? Talk to you later.
That was sick. Pumping that shit.
Hold on one second.
Hey y'all!
Everybody.
Everybody!
Me and my family.
Yeah!
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
What everybody doing?
What everybody
Yeah.
do?